Good morning, everyone. We'll continue here in the words of the Rambam, Hilchos Deos Perek Hey. Today is Halacha Tes number 9. Malbush Talmid Chachamim, the clothing of Talmid Chachamim. Malbush no v'noki should be nice and clean. V'yasala sheyimsa bebigdei kesem, you should not find a stain on his clothing, a shamnunis or some grease, ukayeseba, anything like that. He should be clean. He's the emissary of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the minister in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's army. He represents the Torah. The Torah's tamim is perfect, and therefore he has to look the part as well, with kavod, with honor and glory. At the same time, he should not wear royal garments, big days of, like golden clothes, v'argamon, and purples, sha'akol mistaklim ben, that everyone's going to look at him and stare at him. Ooh, look at him, look how fancy he is. Hugo Boss, wow, no. V'loi malbush aniyim shu mevazes loivshav, nor should he wear the clothing of the poor, which is an embarrassment to those that are wearing it, tattered clothing and the like. Ella bigadim beinanim noim, he should rather wear middle-of-the-road garments that are noim, that are nice. He goes to the store to buy himself a suit in our day and age, and there are suits that are cheap, and there are suits that are expensive, and there are suits that are in the middle of the road. Says the Rambam, you buy what's beinanim, what's in the middle of the road over there. You don't spend too much. You don't have to spend too little. You have to look like a mensch. You have to look put together. You have to look like with a malchus, with a regality that bespeaks of the person who represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his Torah. But a person cannot be too fancy, which draws attention to himself, and he has to exchange his clothing if they're getting worn out and tattered to make sure that he looks good. His skin should not be something that appears through the sheerness of his clothing. Apparently in Egypt, they used to make clothing out of flax, which was very, very thin, and you could see the flesh and the skin. Says the Rambam, not appropriate. You have to have tznius, you have to be covered up. Your clothing should not be dragging on the ground. Apparently arrogant people, they like when their clothing is dragging on the ground. Rather it should be up until your ankle or to your heel, and therefore it should not drag on the ground. Says the Rambam, even your sleeves should be to your fingers. So even though that our custom is with our clothing that it goes to our, basically to our hands, that's about where we go, to where we go with our sleeves. However, if you want to go according to the Rambam, the sleeves should be longer than that. They should go all the way until the fingers. Says the Rambam, for the velo yishal shel talisai b'mnei shenira kegasas haruach. So too says the Rambam, a person should not fold over their clothing, their garments too much, because that also apparently looks like gasas haruach, like haughtiness. Ela b'Shabbos bilvad im ein loy lahachlif. On Shabbos, however, if you have no clothing to change into, you have nothing else to wear, then you'd be allowed to do this, because Shabbos is a different type of a garment. It's an honor for the Shabbos, and therefore you won't be considered haughty in such a case. You should not wear shoes that have too many patches. In the summertime, people will see that. You'll look very poor, and that's not a glory for the person who's representing the Torah. But when it comes to the winter time and the rainy seasons, if he's a poor man, he could wear shoes that are with holes and patches, because the mud will end up covering it up. A person should not walk out into the marketplace covered in perfume. Nor should he have perfumed his clothing. He should not put perfume in his hair. So again, the Rambam is saying, when you're going out into the shuk, into the marketplace, you should not be doing these things, because it draws a lot of attention to yourself. It's a very haughty type of a thing for a person to do. It's even a bit that it's along the lines of those things that women are doing by perfuming themselves and so on and so forth. And if we don't do it, But if a person rubs some perfume into their skin, kedei lahavir hazumam, in order to remove the filth or the smell, that would be mutter. And therefore the Rambam seems to be matter over here, is telling us that when it comes to wearing deodorant, to be able to make sure that you don't smell, which would also be, if a person would not wear deodorant, they would end up smelling during the day, that would also be a chil Hashem for a Talmid Chacham. He has to be able to smell good. People get close to him. They should not be offended by his fragrance. They should rather be pleased by it. Again, it doesn't mean you go buy Axe or Polo or whatever Boss perfume and douse yourself with it. It means deodorant that is going to be able to control the filth and the smell. That's what a person does. A person, a Chacham should not go alone at night. He should not go at night unless he has a set time to go out for his studies. However, because if he goes out by himself, it looks like perhaps maybe he's going to do something suspicious with immorality and the like. Even though he's a Talmid Chacham, people will think the wrong things of him, and therefore he should never be walking alone in the middle of the night. Have a wonderful day.